Hello, welcome you all who is watching this video. So today we are going to discuss about the recruitment and the selections. So as we know, in the organizations, human resource is very important because daily routines activities going on in the organization. So performing those activities, human resource is the basic need of the organizations. Without the human resource, who will manage and control the activities? So the human resource is basically important part on the organizations. So next, what you will able to understand after watching these videos or get attending this lecture. So understand and differentiate between the strategic recruitment and the selections. Identify the dual goals of the recruiting. What are the basic goals of the recruiting for the employees as well as the organizations? Comprehend the recruitment process from the organizational as well as the individual prospectus or prescriptive. Identify what the strategic decisions are involved in the recruiting while the organizations going to recruiting of their employees. What are the basic decisions they are getting? Explain the major recruitment methods and analyze their advantages and disadvantages, means their merit and demerits, also going to analyze. Identify the basic selections criteria. What are the basic selections criteria while going to recruit the employees and providing the jobs? Design and administer an effective selections process. Evaluating the three methods, examples, information gathering, test and interviewing used in the employee selections. Appreciate the wide temporary interviewing techniques used by the interviewer. Next is this decision or the designs interview from the evaluation matrix, which type they are going to evaluate that employees. So here is the outlines of this lectures, what we are going to cover in this lecture. That is the introduction parts for the recruitment and the selections. Next is the recruitments, purpose and importances of the recruitments, factor affecting the recruitments, sources of the recruitment, process of the recruitments, methods of the recruitments. Next is selections. What are the process of the selections and the barriers of the effective selections, difference between recruitment and the selections. So here we are going to discuss about the introductions part of the selections. So selection is basically means that to attract the employees for applying the job in the organizations. Simple we can say. People are the integral part of any organization today. No organization can run without its the human resource. Yes, because daily routine transaction is going on. So daily routine work activity is going on. So who will manage that activities without human resource? So organization can't run without the human resource. Human resource is the must in the organizations. In highly complex and the competitive situations nowadays, we are know about there's so much lot of the competitions is going on in the markets. Choices of right person at the right place at the right time. That is the means of that. Means providing the right skilled person for the right work, means which type of the work is required, which kind of the skills and the which time they will require. So providing them means fulfill all the needs, which is activities going to accept it, which kind of the skills, which times, so each and everything. Has for reaching implications for an organization functions employee well selected and well placed would not only contribute to the efficient running of the organization but offer sufficient potential for the future replacements. So as we know, providing right job to right persons means according to their skills of the employees, providing the task so he can run that task with the efficient and effective manners. So the future of the organization is going to grow, because as we know, in the globalization scenario, the organization is going to make the common goals and the objectives. For achieving that common goals and the objectives, they are created the different tasks, means divisions of the work, means, or we can say the allocation of the work in the different skills persons according to the situations, according to their employees. So the common goals and the objective can achieve with the proper and the efficient manner. So it is also to the help for the futures. Next is the recruitment. Recruitment is a process for searching for the prospective employees and simulating them to apply for the job of an organization. This is the basic definitions of the recruitment provided by the Filippo. Simply, we can say the recruitment, it is the primary process for providing the job to the anyone. So in these situations, the organization is going to search the skilled persons, which skill will require for doing that particular task, doing that activities. So that skills person is going to search, that is the primary phase, and to attract them to apply for the jobs in the organization. Simply. Another definitions: recruitment from the first stage in the process which continue with the selections. This is the primary phase and it is going to continue with the selections. Recruitment means identify the person, searching the persons, and after going to process, it is going to continue with the selections, means providing the job to the employee. And cases with the placement of the candidate, means while the candidate is not getting the placed from the persons. Next is purpose and importances of the organizations. What are the purpose and the importance of the recruitment? So determine the present and future requirement of the organizations. What is going to present and what are the future requirements, because the organization and the human resource managers who will manage all the employees, each going to make the plans, what are the employees, how many employees is going to required in the futures as well as the present, and what are the skills they should require. So with the personal planning and the job analysis activities, he is going to analysis of the jobs for the futures, increase the job pools of the job candidate at minimum cost. This is also purpose for that. It also helps to increase the success rate of the selection process. Yes, means more and more employees got to selected by reducing number of the visibilities under qualified or job applications. Means to success rate means to providing, to attracting the employees and the getting the well skilled persons for the organization, for the job applications, help to reduce the probabilities that the job applicants, once recruited, selected, will leave the organizations only after a short period of time. So it is also helps to reduce the probabilities of the job applicants, means the person who is leaving that organization as soon as possible, because few of the people is coming and jumping there, they are going to moving. So because if the employee will going to leave from the organizations, it is also the increase the cost of the organizations, because the new employee is coming and the organization will providing the training, so they are going to pay some of the amount, so it is the cost. So this is the basic purpose, to minimize the risk of the employees to left the job as the short periods, meet the organizational, legal and social obligations regarding the compositions of its workforce is also there, means make the social obligations and the legal obligations and making the proper workforce for them. Being identifying the preparing potential job applicants who will be appropriate candidates is also evaluate the effectiveness of the various recruiting technique and the source of all type of the job applicants. So it also helps to the employees to evaluate the various recruitment techniques, which are the techniques is going to recruit for the employees. So also going to recruit them and of evaluating the techniques and the all type of the job applicants, means which the person is going to apply for the job, so is also going to evaluate all the applicants. Next is the recruitment goals. Attract the qualified applicants, means is also helps to attract the qualified applicants. This is the basic goals, means to attract more and more applicant to apply for the job, so the organization or the human resource manager can find the suitable, well skilled and the well experienced persons for the organization. Second is the encourage qualified applicant to self-select themselves out. So it also do the help. This is the basic recruitment goals in the organizations. Recruitment is a two-way process. Simply, we can say it's the two-way, one from the employer side, one from the employee side. So the recruitment organization looking for the qualified applications means the well-skilled persons who will do the work in the organizations for the particular skilled work. Which type of the skills is organization required? So find that kind of the persons that who have the skill to perform that kind of the work. So the recruitment, it's from the organization, and the applications are looking for the potential employment opportunities. After that, they are going to search is the appropriate work, appropriate or the suitable job for the employees, for the persons. Then he is going to send their resumes, biodata, whatever he is made, he is going to apply for the job. So it is the basically we can say the two-way process. Next is the recruitment process. What are the recruitment process is there? So there is the also we have discussed in the previous slides, that is the two-way process. One from the organizations and another from the candidate. So here is the recruitment process is also the two-way, means the organizational level as well as the candidates level. Means for the organization levels, vacant or the new positions occurs. Yes, organizations is going to analyze what are the new vacancies is there and the new positions is there. So for getting the new positions, to fulfill these positions, they are going to make the plan for the recruitment. Why vacancy is there? Because people are leaving from the organizations, and few other regions, means the growth of the organization is going to growing, and organization want to getting the new projects. So that's why the vacancy is going on. Then second is the general candidate pool via internal or external recruitment process. Means first they have identified the vacant positions. What are the vacant positions is there? What kind of the skills will required? After the searching that, they are going to recruitment process. Means to attract the employees, attract the persons for the applying job in the organizations. So there is basically the two sources is there for the applying the jobs is there. That is the first is the external sources as well as the internal sources. So they are going to find out the suitable candidates. Next is evaluate candidate via selection process. In the first and the primary phase is going to start searching, attracting. After that, the process of the recruitment is going to evaluate which candidate is going to suitable from applying for the job. Like the more than 50 or 70s or the hundreds of the people are going to applying for that job. From the 100, we are going to select only for the 10. Then we have to choose which one is the right persons for who is having the well skilled and the well experience for doing that particular jobs. After that, we are going to impress the candidates and make the offers. If it is going to getting a good, means its performance and everything is going to evaluate, then the organization is found that he is the suitable and the right person for this job, then providing the offers to do the job in the organizations. Next is the same process is going from the candidates. That is the first is the receive educational choice. What he's going to want the occupations. First, when the candidate is going to apply for that job, first he is going to analyze this job is related to our educations or not. Suppose if any person who did the masters in the management, if the vacancy is for the accountant, then first he is going to analyze if I am suitable for the particular jobs or not. So the same thing he is going to choose here, the educationals. Second is acquire the employment experience. He is also going to what are the industries there, while uh, who is having the vacancies, what are the backgrounds of the companies, of the organizations, how much time it is going to running, what is dealing with. Next is searching for the job openings. Then he is going to search for the jobs. Next is apply for the jobs. After that, impress the company during the selection process. And after we are going to the selection process of the candidate, he is going to impress the companies, means providing the answers which is interviewer is going to ask him. Then he is going to evaluate the job and the companies. Then he is going to evaluate job is suitable for me or not, the company is good or not. After that, he is going to take the decisions for doing that job, means accept the proposals for the job or reject the job offers which is going to provided by the organization. Simply, this is the recruitment process from the both side, as well as the organization side and the candidate sides. Next is the strategic recruitment decisions. This is also the strategic make the decision making process, how to make the strategic decisions during the selections, during the recruiting. That is the three phases basically we can go to describe. That is the HR planning decisions, first things. Second phase is going to strategic recruitment selections. Third is decisions on the recruiting and the sources and the methods is there. So first we are going to discuss about the HR planning decisions. Means in the HR planning, first is the human resource manager will identify the present status and the future status which is going to come in the futures. How many of the employee is going to required for doing the work in the organizations, means analyze all those things. Second phase is when needed, when it will require. Third is KSA needed. KSA means knowledge, skill and attitude. What kind of the knowledge they are required, what kind of the skills they are required, what kind of attitude is going to required for doing the job in the organizations. In the next, the special qualifications. What are any other special qualifications should be required? It should be a master's in management, it should be a finance background. So each and everything should be analyzed according to the work situations. So these are the basic phase of the HR planning decisions. Next is the strategic recruiting decisions. When they are going to recruit the employees, he is also getting the strategic decisions. Then that is where to recruit, means he is going to find out from where we can go to the recruit for the candidates for doing the work in the organizations, like the internal as well as the external sources. Internal means who the employee are doing currently are doing the work in the organizations, so we can promote them, we can providing the extra responsibilities. That is the internal sources. Or maybe from getting the references from the internal employee which are working in the organization's current employee, if they are going to provide any of the reference for the job for particular persons, that is also the part of the internals. If we are going to talk about the external recruitment, then there is so many mediums like the we can use. The most probably most of the organization is going to use that things, that is from the colleges, universities, coaching center, etc. From there they can choose the candidates, or the third parties is also there. They are going to provide the fulfill the vacancies in the industries as well as the companies, and the other things we can do, that providing the newspaper ads, print media ad, and so other things. Second is who is recruit, means the flexible staffing options, means part-time, full-time. Next is nature of the job requirement. What are the job requirement is there is also. So these are the basic things of the strategic recruiting decisions. Next is decisions on recruiting sources, methods, advertising, choosing which of the newspaper we are going to give the advertisements, recruiting activities while we are going to recruit of the employee, what are the tests we should take from the candidates, so we find the suitable persons for doing that job. Next is the strategic recruiting decisions, that is the flexible staffing and their descriptions. So the flexible staffing, first is the regular employment. As we know, the regular employment consists of the continuous, prescriptible, and the scheduled employment of the 6 months during or the longer. Regular employment may full-time or part-time, means regular employment is that the employee who is currently working from the last 6 or more than 6 months, and it can be a full-time as well as the part-time. Full-time or the part-time, full-time employment consists of a regular schedule of 37.5 hours per week. Part-time employment consists of a regular schedule of the less than 37.5 hours per week. Independent contractors, the perform specific services on a contract basis used in a number of the areas, including building maintenance, securities, advisory, and the public relations. Public relations is also there. Next is the professional employer, organizational, and the employee leads, and the employer signs an agreement with an employee's leasing companies, after which the existing staff is hired by the leasing firm and leased back to the company for a fee. A small business owner turns his or her staff over to the leasing companies, which then writes the paychecks, pays the taxes, is also prepares and implement the HR policies, and keep all the required documentations which is required. Temporary workers. This is the based on the try before you buy approach, means before you are going to hire, you have to try. Employee who use the temporary employee can hire their own temporary staff or use the agency supplying temporary workers. Such firms supply workers on a rate per day or per week basis. So simply here I am going to putting the example, that is the hospitality industries like the hotels. If any of the hotel is getting a 6 marriage parties going on in a single day, and he required the more human resource, more employees to performing that activities. Certainly he cannot hire, and the daily basis they cannot utilize that the resources. So what in the situations done by the hotel industry, that is the hotels do the contract with the hotel management schools, colleges or the universities. From there they can get the persons for doing the particular jobs, that basically it's called the ODC, outdoor catering, and they are going to provide the amount in the daily basis at the market rate. So these are the basic example of the temporary working. If the organization required, then they do the work. If the organization not required the resource, human resource, then they are not do the work, and the organization will not pay the any amount. Next is the seasonal employee. Seasonal employees are hired to work on a part-time basis by the companies that needed extra help during a particular season. Typically, the Christmas persons seasons or the crops harvesting. Yes, one of the examples. If the farmer, the crops is going to cutting, then alone person cannot do the same things, then he is going to hire the more candidate to cutting the crops. So this is the seasonal employees because it is going to on the seasons. Next is factor influencing the recruitments. Which are the factor is going to recruitment process, that is the two factors. One is the internal factors and the external factors. Internal factors, the internal factors also called endogenous factors are the factors within the organizations that affect the recruiting personals in the organizations. Internal forces, example, the factors which can be controlled by the organizations are recruitment policies is there, size of the organizations, human resource planning, cost of the recruitment, growth and expansion is also there. Another is the external factors. The external forces are the forces which cannot be controlled by the organizations. The major external forces are supply and the demands, labor market, images, goodwill of the organizations, political and social legal environment, unemployment rates, and the competitor. That are the external factors going to affect. Sources of the recruitments, as we already discussed in the previous slide, that is the two type of the sources, that is the internal as well as the external sources. The searching of the suitable candidate and the information informing them about the opening in the enterprises is the most important aspect of recruitment process. Internal sources. Internal recruitment seek the applicant for positions from those who are currently employed, means the person who is going to currently working in that organizations. So internal sources including the present employee transfer promotions, means the current employee who is doing the work in the organization going to transfer, or we can do the promotions for that employees. Another, we can say the employee references. We can also use the reference from the employees who is doing the work in the currently. Former employees means the previous employees which are having the data in the organizations he was applying in the past, but he was not selected. Next is the previous applicant. External sources. External sources far outnumber the internal sources. It include professions or trade associations, advertisement. Yes, through the advertisement we can hire, we can recruiting the candidates. Employee exchanges also we can use the campus recruitment, walk-ins, write-in and talk-ins. Also consultant is also there in the market, so from the consultant we also can hire the candidates. Contractors, like the contractors, they are going to provide the employees, mean the candidate for doing the work. Displayed persons, radio and television advertisements, acquisitions and mergers. Yes, if the organization is going to merge or the acquisition from the another organizations, that is also getting the candidates. Competitors and the e-recruiting, like so many e-recruiting websites, they are applying for the many of the persons like the naukri.com and any other sources, job seeker, job finder. There is so many e-recruiting website is there. There the people and the candidate are going to search the jobs. Next is the internal versus external sources. What are the advantages of that and the disadvantages of the sources? First, we are going to discuss about the internal sources. What are the advantages and the disadvantages? So, advantages, it is the less costly because we got the candidate informations very easily, because the presently he is doing the work. We should not pay any of the cost for that. Disadvantages is the perpetual of the old concept of doing things. Second advantage is candidates are already oriented toward the companies. He also know about the organizations. Disadvantage is it's reading. Reading also is there. Third is the advantage is organization have the better knowledge about the internal candidates. Organizations also know very well about the candidate, what is their weaknesses, their strength, about their performance. But the disadvantage is that if the internal candidate we are going to promote, then who will do that activity done by him? So that activity may be affected. This is the disadvantage also. Enhancement of the employee morale and the motivations. Yes, it also make the impact is the advantages, because all employee, because the other employees got the motivated, we should get the chance in the upcoming futures. So disadvantage it can be then the employee play the politics against them and providing some other roles with them is also good. Performance is also the advantage for that. The external sources, advantages and the disadvantages. What are the disadvantages and the advantages of the external sources? Benefits of the new skills, new talent and new experience to the organizations. If the new candidate is coming, then the organization get the new experience, new talents, because he's coming from the somewhere, then he is having may few of the skills for that. So organization get the well skilled persons. Second advantage is compliance with the reservations policies become easy. Means as per the rule of the government, reservation policy is also going to become very easy. Next is the scope for the resentments, malicious and hard word are avoid, because the person is not going to jealous from them and the hard ones is not there. So this conflict is going to avoid. So the disadvantage is also that is the better morale and the motivations associated with the internal recruiting is denied to the company. Second disadvantage is that it is the costly, because could be the organization going to provide the ads, the newspaper, so investing the huge cost. So it is the costly. Chances for the creeping in the false positive and false the negative errors is there. Next is he also getting the time to adjustment with the new employees and the new culture. Next is the recruitment process. What are the process of the recruitments? Recruitment process involve a systematic procedure from the sourcing the candidates to arranging the conducting the interview and requires many sources and times. These are the basic things, basic diagrams. You can understand job vacancies, job analysis, recruitment planning, number of the types, strategy, where, who and the when we are going to use, employee requisitions we are getting, searching there, selling message medias, applicant populations we are going to pull. After that process, they are going to applicant pools, means attracting the persons, and then evaluating and control political hires, potential hirings is there, and after that all the process going to the selections. First is the job analysis, is the process to identify and determine the detail, the particular job duties and the recruitment and the relative importance of these duties for a given job. Job analysis is a process where judgments are made about the data collected on a job. So they are the basically two parts: job descriptions and the job specifications. Job descriptions. A job descriptions is a list that the person might use for the general task which is going to perform in the organizations or the functions and responsibilities of positions. If he is going to apply for that job, what his responsibilities, that is the job descriptions. And the job specifications is the statement of the essential employment of a job class, including a summary of the work to be performed, primary duties and the responsibilities, and the minimum qualifications and the requirements necessary to perform the essential functions of that particular job. So these are the job specifications, which kind of the skills should be required, what are the qualifications should required. This is the job specifications. Recruitment planning. The first step involved in the recruitment process is the planning. Here, planning involved to draft a comprehensive job specifications for the vacant positions, means which position is going to vacant, outlining its major and the minor responsibilities, the skills, experience and the qualifications needed, grade, level of the pay. These all are the parameters is going to mentioned is here, going to observe there. Second is the strategic development. Once it is known how many with what qualifications of the candidate are required, means how many candidates and what are the qualifications they should require. The next step involved in the regards is the devise the suitable strategy for the recruiting the candidate in the organizations, means attracting the customer, find out the customer, searching for the candidates. Next is the searching. This step involves attracting the job seekers in the organizations. These are the broadly two sources used. Attract the candidate. These are the internal as well as the external sources. Screening through some view screening as the starting point of the selections. We have considered it is an integral part of recruitment. The regions begin the selection process start only after the applicants have been screened and the shortlist. So all the person who is going to apply for the particular jobs, then we are going to screening, means doing the shortlisted for the candidates for the suitable skills and the jobs. Evaluation and the control. Given the considerable cost involved in the recruitment process, it is evaluation and the control is therefore the imperative. The cost generally incurred in a recruitment process includes what are the parameters is going to include: salary of the recruiters, cost of the time spent for the preparing job analysis, advertisements, administrative expenses is there, cost of outsourcing or overtiming while vacancies remains unfilled, cost incurred in recruiting unsuitable candidates. So these are the parameters. Methods of the recruitment, that is the three basic methods, that is the direct methods, indirect methods and the third party methods. So what is the direct methods? In this method, the representative of the organizations are sent to the potential candidates in the educational and the training institutes. They establish contract with the candidates job seeking the jobs. Indirect methods. Indirect methods include advertisement in the newspaper, on the radios, televisions, etc. This method is useful when the organization does not find the suitable candidate to be promoted to fill up the higher post, means the internal promotion is not there. When the organization want to reach out to a vast territory, and when organization want to fill up scientific, professional and the technical post. That is the indirect. Next is third party methods. These include the use of the private employment agencies. Management consultant is also professional bodies, association, employee referrals, recommendations, trade unions. So there are so many sources for the third parties, means no direct, no indirect. It is also going to third parties. These are the few of the e-content websites like the Naukri.com, JobSeeker, Sign.com. These are also. Next is the selections. Selection is the process of differentiating the between applicant in under job identify and hire those with a greater likelihood of success in the jobs. Selection is the process in which candidates for the employment are divided into two classes: those who are to be offered employment and those who are not. Means there are two categories: who is offered to the jobs and who is not going to offer for the jobs. Selection process. Next is the environment, means the rejected applications. In this diagram, you are going to primarily interviews, selection test, employee interviews, reference and the background analysis, selection decisions, physical examination. So in this category, we are going to shortlisted the candidates. That's why here is the showing the rejected applicants, and after that, those the person who is qualified all those parameters, then we are going to job offers, employment contract, and do the evaluations for that. Environmental factors. Selection is the influenced by the several factors. More prominent among them are the supply and demand of the specific skills. In the labor market, unemployment rate, legal and the political consideration, etc. Primarily interviews, the application received from the job seeker would be subject to security so as to estimate qualified applicants. This is usually followed by the preliminary interviewer. Next is the selection test. Job seeker who pass the screening and the preliminary interview are called for the guests. Generally, tests are used to determine the applicants' abilities, their attitudes, their aptitudes, personalities, perceptions, behaviors, everything. Employment interviews. The next step in the selection process is the employment interviews. An interview is conducted at the beginning, at the end of the selection process. Reference check and the backgrounds. In this category, we are going to check the references which they are going to provided by the candidates. Selection decisions. After obtaining performance through the processing step, selection decisions are the most crucial of the aspect. Physical examinations, we are going to check the physical, he's mentally or physically is fit or not, and getting the physically fitness test. Job offer, the next step in the selection process is the job offer to those applicants who have crossed all the previous hurdles. So this is also previous hurdles he have done, means all are the things he have been qualified. Next is the contract employees. After the job offer have been made, the candidate accepting the offer, certain documentations need to be executed by the employers and the candidates. Next is evaluation and selection program. The broad test of an effectiveness of the selection process is the qualities that the personnel hired. A firm must have competent and committed personals. Barriers of the selections. Yes, what are the barriers can come while we are going to select, while the organization going to select the employees? The main objective of the selection is to hire the people having the competence and the commitment. This object is often defective because of the certain barriers are implemented to the effective selections of the people at the work can be explained as under ineffective recruitments. Second is the perceptions of the candidates. Stereotyping is there, gender issues is there, age and race issues is also. Hello fake quotas, fairness, validities, reliabilities, pressures, nepotism, favorism, cost and the time. Difference between the recruitment as the selections. So these are the basic meanings of the recruitment. It is activities of establishing contract between employer and the applicants. This is the recruitment. Where the selections, it is the process of picking up more competent and the suitable employees. Objective, it encourages large number of candidates for the jobs. Where the selections, it attempt at the rejecting unsuitable candidates. It is going to reject the candidate who is unsuitable for the particular jobs. Process, it is simple process, and the selection is the complicated process because there are so many phases. It have to pass by the candidates hurdles. The candidate have not to cross over many hurdles, but in the selection process many hurdles have been crossed by the uh, candidates because he is going to so many tests is there. It is economical methods recruitment, whereas the selections is the expensive methods because the cost is going to expense very high. So now I'm going to provide you a few questions which you can give the answers so you can analyze how much you have learned from watching this video. So there is the 4 options in this in one questions. So according to find the right answer, you should choose from the 4 options. The question is a process of searching for the prospective employee and stimulating them to apply for the jobs. Second is which is not an advantage of internal source of the recruitments. Next is which is not an advantage of the internal source of recruitments. Next, can be defined as the process of choosing the right person for the right job. 8. Blank space is the applications from to be filled by the candidate when he goes for the recruitment process in the organizations. Next, is not an internal source of the recruitments. Next is the selection test which judge the emotional abilities which will help to judge work in the group. Next is promotion is a blank space source recruitment. Campus selection is a blank space source of recruitment. The term procurement stand for means assigning specific rank and responsibilities to an individual. So these are the basic questions. You can select the right answer from these questions so you can analyze yourself how much you was learned. I hope you was learned a lot from watching this video. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you very much.